Hello, my name is Carl Crockard, and I'm the Managing Director for Cask. We were bullied into coming here today by Sharon, asked to come along by Sharon and give the view of a local company operating in the space. So, who are we? We like to think of ourselves as an innovative Tier 2 contractor that's solutions-based, and what that means is that we're operating and dealing directly with the clients and the OEMs. We offer professional labour services, engineering and electrical solutions. We were established in 2014 in a very humble way, 3 people, and we currently employ 44 people. We have a large bank of subcontractors that we also use depending on our project demands. It's a big statement, but it's one we're very proud of. In the last 5 years, we've been responsible for mobilising the pre-assembly activities for the world's largest offshore wind farms. So those include in the UK, Hornsea 1 and 2, East Anglia, Beatrice, Galloper and the Walney Extension, which converted the D1 facility. In Taiwan, we're currently still there working on Yunlin, Formosa 1 and 2, and Greater Changhua. In Germany with Holsea, Albatros and Acornebecken, and in Holland with Borssele and Friesland. We were also involved in the prototype Coastal Virginia project for the USA. So, okay, what do we do? So as I said, we're specialists in the pre-assembly stage on the key site activities. We design and manufacture and install the components on location. On the most part, those components are the tower frames. These are large structures that allow the turbines to be upended. That allows a lot of the internal fit-out work to be done on the quayside before the offshore installation. We also have our own new concept for power containers, which is electrical distribution for these sites. Some of the photographs you've seen there from the Harbour Cruiser a minute ago, these sites are generally large, hardcore sites with incoming supplies, and we interface those around the world and then distribute the power requirement for the turbines and the tooling. And we do the full site mobilisation across the world, including the sea fastenings, the tower frames, and the infrastructure M&E. That's a turnkey solution, and we're the only people that currently offer that service. So here's some photographs of some recent projects. You can see this is D1 in Belfast, looking across the loch. Next up, we've got EA1 jackets in Vlissingen in Holland for Lamprell. We were responsible for installing the manufacturing and installing the sea fastenings, transporting the jackets to the barge and securing them to the barge for the offshore voyage. And next up is Galloper in Great Yarmouth in the UK. You can see the towers in the background. They're installed to one of our tower frames and one currently being lifted onto the vessel that'll go into our sea fastenings. We're in Esbjerg next for Borssele contract. These are some of the components we manufacture from Belfast. And we're in Taiwan for Formosa 1, our first project in the region. These are our power containers. This is a fairly new concept that we come up with. Basically, we take the incoming supplies, as we said. The voltages range around Europe, 200, 400, 110 voltages. And then in Taiwan, there's further challenges with the frequencies. So we interface the incoming supplies, and we standardise those for the equipment that the guys are using. We also offer a full design and manufacture of all the tower frame components. And we're back in Harland Wolff here with our friends for the EA1 jackets again. As you can see, we're transporting them onto the barge and securing them to sea fastenings. Okay, so we call this the Whistle Stop Tour. Hopefully it's a little better on your screen. We've been operating in renewables industry since 2016. It's been a difficult journey. It's been a bit of a roller coaster, and I could probably stand here for the next 5 years and tell you all about it. But anyway, we'll go through the Whistle Stop Tour. In 2016, we got an opportunity. Van Oord arrived to D1 with the foundation pieces for Walney Extension. We were asked to site through some of our previous contacts to look at some of the challenges the guys were having, and we were presented with an opportunity. If we're being honest, it was probably an opportunity too soon. We were unprepared. We were still a very small business. We were already busy in construction and utilities. But as any good salesperson will tell you, when you're represented with an opportunity, there's only 2 ways to answer the question, and they both begin with yes. So we took the opportunity and we've done okay. In 2017, we moved on and started working for Siemens Gamesa and for Vestas. We won much larger scopes of work with those guys, and I've got issues against 2017 because we had a very steep learning curve. We were doing a lot of work with 2 OEMs that pushed and pulled us a lot in our business. That meant that in 2017 we were massively over-trading, which put lots of pressure on our cash flow, and our supply chain at that point was very undeveloped. So in 2018 we had a little bit of a turning point. We were quite bold. We picked a horse. In this case we backed Siemens Gamesa, and we approached them and said that We were very honest. We told them about our issues, that we were overtrading, and we were struggling to manage our business with the peaks and troughs that these renewable projects present to you. So we asked them for a pipeline of work, and we asked them for 5 projects. We gave them some kickback. We told them that that would benefit them and that we could plan our business better. We would be prepared for the troughs, and we could plan for future investment in tooling and manning. So they bought into that, and they gave us a framework agreement for 5 projects. And that put us on a journey of investment then in 2019. We grew our business, as we said, from humble beginnings. We started to increase our manning, our training, our tooling and equipment. We also established Cask Engineering in 2019 and Cask Electrical. 2020, we've got wow. At the end of 2019, we were quite ambitious. We opened a new market in Taiwan, and we were very enthusiastic. We were looking forward to a new year with potentially 3 or 4 projects already in the bank on the other side of the world. And then, of course, we had the pandemic. As I'm sure a lot of people in the room would agree, it was very difficult personally and professionally. For us, we were trying to send guys to the other side of the world at the beginning of a pandemic. Our first project was kicking off in March 2020, right at the coalface. So we had the anxiety of the guys, anxiety of the people at home, sending loved ones across the world. And we were also going to a country that didn't really have COVID. They closed their borders, so we had lots of new restrictions and entry restrictions to get through. But we got through it, and in 2021 we invested again. We opened a new premises in Lisburn, so we're now in 2 depots. And in 2022 we're investing again, so you can get the picture now. There's a bit of a common theme. If you want to stay relevant in this industry, you've got to keep reinvesting. As the guys have said earlier, the components keep getting bigger. And if you want to keep in the industry, unfortunately, you've got to keep putting back in. So we have a video here, hopefully, to show you of our recent investments. I obviously put that video in there because it meant I could talk less. So, okay, so the market evolution then, where we think the market's going. As we've already talked about today, the market pipeline of work coming down is bigger than ever before. Our clients have been communicating with us that they're going to change their business models to suit the new demands. And in order to do that, they want to reduce the subcontractor interface. So all of our main OEMs and clients are telling us that they want to reduce the amount of people working on the critical path. And of course, that presents a risk to us. We're still a small business based in Belfast, and we're competing on a global stage with much larger competition, with a much bigger pool of resources to pick from. So the pessimist would focus on the risk, but we choose to be optimists and focus on the opportunity. And for us, that's an opportunity to grow the business and our people. But the big one for us is the opportunity to collaborate. We're already collaborating with other businesses, some of which would be competitors previously. Today we're collaborating with a company that was a competitor in HKZ in Rotterdam. If the clients have made the decision to remove the interface, it's up for us to find the way to still operate. And we're also speaking with Belfast Met and Queen's about how we fill the skills gap. So in closing, I just wanted to run through, just really quickly, some lessons that we've learned. So we talked about the demands on your cash operating in this business. Today we're operating with between 150 and 180 days payment terms. That of course is a challenge, and it's probably going to be further right again. The supply chain for us was a big issue. It's about choosing the right partner that is able to react to the demands of this industry when it's required. And of course this isn't for everybody. There's a lot of travel in a global business, so the demands on the people. The client expectations, the AHS, I think they're second to none, it goes without saying. From a quality perspective, the OEMs are generally responsible for the assets for anywhere between 15 and 25 years after installation. So the quality, of course, is they won't accept anything but the best quality. And reputation, yeah, there's a high focus on this industry all across the world. And when we go to a new market like Taiwan, and maybe 150 or 200 Europeans arrive to a local harbour town, it gets noticed by the locals, and the client focus on their reputation is very, very high, and they expect our guys to behave in a certain way, whether they're going for a beer or going for food or going to do the tourist attractions. That's a very high focus for them. And the rewards, we spoke about the pipeline. I think there's opportunities for any business from any background with a bursting pipeline. The margins that you would expect to achieve in this industry are probably greater than you would expect in traditional engineering or construction, providing you can meet the demands and the expectations, obviously. Your people development, it's a global industry, so it's an opportunity to get your name out there. I think at one point we were the #1 company in Taichung for offshore renewables. Some clever work from our SEO guys. Of course, it's a sustainable business that we've talked about, and the Green Revolution, we're very proud to be part of it, and it is a business, but it's a business we can be proud of. Thank you.